shorter than you think. No think.
The Holy Trinity, Bermuda, Alaskan, and Bridgewater triangles. Some say even notable deaths. The significance of 3 is undeniable. You are to bear witness to yet another event. We're invited to join your hosts, Krista, Aaron, and Brandy, as they guide you down the rabbit holes of the paranormal and unexplained, striving for answers of this world and beyond. Welcome to Blondes, Booze, and the Woo.
Hey,
everybody. Hey. Hi, everybody. It's nice to see you. Yep, everybody's coming in now. I just want to let everybody know, because of tonight's topic, I got my alien shirt on.
You do?
I do. My mom bought it for me, bless her weird little heart.
Oh.
She says you need that.
Is it fluorescent?
I don't know. I don't know. I might glow in the dark.
Look at you through here. It looks like it could be a glow in the dark.
It could. I mean, it's that bright.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a cool shirt.
I love it. And then let's talk about our hats.
Well, let's do our normal spiel first here real quick.
Okay, we'll do that. You want to give a shout out to everybody?
Yeah, look, I guess we could start doing that. Let's see who's in the chat. Gary Spikes, Tex, and Tex happens to be in Springs tonight, so let's wish him well. Be safe.
Yeah.
And Strickland is on there. Good evening. Gary, I might have said Gary already. Crystal, hello. Val was on, but she has a headache, so she's going to have to miss this one, but we appreciate her commenting anyway and coming in.
We'll miss you, Val.
Yep. Midwest Night Watchers. Let's see. Mopar Bill, hello. Pat Murphy, I hope you're doing well. Gene Hudson, hello. Going through here. Susie, good to see you. Let's keep on going. My stupid computer, it keeps like refreshing.
Yes.
Steve C, I see you. Chiro Sounds, hello. Letitia, hey girl. Tamara, hey, how are you? Straw Dog. Let's see here. That's my dog, guys. If you just heard that, he's like having a.
You got some kind of demon there in the background.
Got something going on here. Laying here next to me.
We have Strange Land out there. Did you mention that?
Yep. Jack Weldon. Hello. Like I said, my computer keeps refreshing. So I apologize. I see Clayton Blackwell just chimed in. If I missed anybody, because I truly don't mean to, it's my computer just keeps like refreshing itself. So I apologize if I missed anyone.
But anyway, we appreciate everybody out there. And thanks for the comment on my shirt. I love my shirt.
Yeah. Yes, sure.
My mom's just as crazy as I am.
Yep. There's a couple of announcements that I want to touch on real quick. To our friend Jessica Potter is still in the hospital with heart issues. So if everybody could keep her and her family in your prayers. She did have a heart attack back in December, and she's young. Seriously, guys, she's like really young. And
absolutely.
Yeah, most definitely. And then Pat Murphy, let's continue to keep her in our prayers as well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
100%, Pat. We're with you.
Yep. And also BMR, our buddy BMR, he's still without power, and they're saying it could be as long as Sunday before he gets it back. And he's up in Michigan. It's cold. So keep him in your prayers as well. So we definitely appreciate that. Brandy, what's on Monday nights?
Okay, well, on Monday nights, it's Texas Front Porch at 6:30 p.m. Central. Don't forget to don't miss out on this on Monday. Now, he's going to be in Brown Springs. We're going to be investigating Brown Springs again. So make sure you tune into that on 6:30 p.m. on Monday. On Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central, we have Van Buren Variety. At 8 p.m. Central, now this is tentative. We're going to find out what's happening, but we have Beyond BMR. Like I said, he's without power and everything else, so we don't know what's happening yet with that. On Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central, we have Jason McLean Questions Everything. On Thursday, 12 p.m. Central, again, depending on what happens with BMR, it's brunch with Bigfoot Michigan Rob and Krista. At 7 or 8 p.m. Central, I keep wanting to say Eastern. BMR's thinking about me. 8 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, we have Blondes and Booze. And then on 8 p.m., of course, on Friday, we have Blondes, Booze, and the Woo.
Yep. Little weirdness.
But I wanted to make mention of this real quick. Next Thursday and Friday are travel days for Krista and I. We will not have live shows, but we're pre-recording some good stuff for you, so make sure you tune in for that.
Actually, one of the shows is going to be on animals and how they see spirits and stuff, and how they
react to the paranormal. Exactly. Yep. Yes.
Yeah. So that's one of them. We haven't decided on the second one yet. So
we're trying to think of something good. Trying to think of something real good.
Yeah. So if you guys have anything, honestly, you guys want us to talk about, just let us know, and we'll take that into consideration. Just put it out there in the chat. And we'll definitely put it in the for consideration.
Exactly. Because we are going to Michigan. Granted, yep. Everybody's without power right now. It's supposed to be getting up into the upper 30s and 40s soon there. So everything should be melting. We're not anticipating any harsh weather. Mm-hmm. I mean, snow in the north, everybody knows. A little bit of snow ain't going to hurt nothing. We just, we're keeping our eyeballs on what's happening though.
Yep. There's a couple more people I see that chimed in. And like I said, if I miss you, I apologize. We love each and every one of you, and we appreciate you all for being here. I see Sherry Porter's chimed in now. Shane, who we had on last night, he's in here now. So it's good to see you, Shane. And Grandmaster UV. Danny is in here. Anyway, I hope I didn't miss anybody. I tried not to.
So I was just thinking, I took a drink of my coffee and I'm like, oh my gosh, do not burn your finger like last night.
Right, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I just see Daryl Denton just chimed in here too. So speaking of him, we have hats on.
Hi, Daryl.
We have hats on. Yep. And these hats are thanks to Daryl. He got each of us blondes one, and our fill-in co-host Letitia Nunnally one too. So we appreciate it, and definitely. So we're wearing them. Tonight's hat night. It's our woo night.
Tex said we had something really big run by our campsite. Well, you better get it on film.
Yeah. Why don't you just log in here, Tex, and come on with us and Teri? You know how to do it. You have access. Speaking of Teri, I'm going to go ahead and bring her up.
Let's bring up Teri.
We're gonna talk some UFOs, just some weird stuff tonight. She's going to talk about several UFO happenings. One that happened, a little more detail in Roswell that I didn't know about. There was something that happened in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. We're going to talk about that a little bit, and just a little bit of everything. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Teri up.
Hey, Tex said send in the link. Hey, Teri.
All right, Tex, I'm going to send you the link. Let me figure out how to do this, because
we're going to see if we can get the big guy chiming in now.
Yeah,
he's in Brown Springs. UFOs. They've seen strange lights out there, so it's a possibility. Right.
I'm going to go ahead and keep talking. I'm going to try to get Tex the link here.
Well, as most of you know, Teri is our UFO expert.
She's
She,
not only that, but she's also she's personal friends with us, so we
well,
know
of
her
course,
on the outside. And
and I forget people know that.
yeah, yeah,
But she is our UFO expert. She runs CE5 out of Illinois. Um,
hmm
you know, I don't know. She's a wealth of information. That's all I can say. I mean, I ask her something about UFO, boy, she can just at the tip of her tongue. I'm like, oh, I can't
right,
even do that.
I've been at it a
right,
long
Hey, if
time.
I go to sleep, I lost everything.
right.
So anyway, Teri, tell us about again. I know you spoke about it before, but tell us about CE5 and what it's all about. And I guess your chapter, is that what you would call it? Your chapter of CE5?
Yeah.
Real quick. I don't mean to interrupt you, but Tex is listening. Tex, I just sent it through you to you through a text. So anyway,
You better be watching the sky down there in Brown Springs. You might
right,
just see something.
right.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what we're trying to get him on so he can look at that. He said something big just ran through. Well, if it's something,
Let's hear about it.
yeah. Because I mean, with all the accounts of seeing strange lights in the sky when seeing a cryptid of some sort,
Yeah.
you never know what we'll catch. But anyway, Teri, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, that's fine. The CE5 was drawn up by a guy named Dr. Stephen Greer in the 90s. I just got wind of it a couple of years ago and fell down that big old rabbit hole. What it is it stands for Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, and it is where we make contact with the actual ETs. It's done by everything is consciousness. It has I mean, you're free to time travel. It's just a lot of meditation. There's a great book out there called the CE5 Handbook that goes into like all kinds of details on what we do. But basically, you get yourself into a meditative state, and we are actually going out and making contact with these spacecraft that are out in space. We shoot laser grid up in the air.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
But
Do what?
Chris, the cut is right.
turn your volume.
No, I haven't done with the light. Signal may not be good enough.
Can you hear me? Brandy did
Text, touch your mic. There we go. Now, Tex, if you can hear us, we have got a really bad feedback on you right now. I don't know what that's all about. I don't know if there's a lot of noise or background noise that you've got going on. Maybe you need to turn down your mic. We really can't hear you at all. Okay. All right, Teri. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Let him fix that, then let him chime back in.
But yeah, basically we're out there trying to make contact with the actual ETs, and I've done it quite a few times. Like I said, I have a chapter here I'm trying to get up and running in central part of Illinois. I have had them answer back just by flashing lights.
Wow.
And I mean, it's basic to it. It sounds a little off the wall, but I mean, the communication, we've heard that they make communication telepathically anyway. So, I mean, it's even like during this meditation that Dr. Greer has had pictures to where somebody has taken photos in the group, and they're actually, you can see these beings standing between their chairs. So haven't never had that happen yet, but.
So you're basically talking like telepathy, like you're projecting your thoughts to them.
Right. And when you meditate, you're actually beaming them in, like you're shooting your location. I guess you would call your location, and you kind of like in your meditative state go to the moon, and then you go to the Milky Way, and then you just keep putting it out there. And then when you think you make contact, you just pull them back in. You show them to, through your mind and your consciousness, here is the earth. And then you focus on Illinois and you bring them into your backyard or wherever you happen to be sitting at.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And it's just, it seems far out there, but once you're into it and just keep an open mind, there's nowhere, when you do make contact, it's just amazing. So
yeah, let's
Right.
see
Well,
what, real quick, let's see what ran through camp with Tex, and then we'll go back onto the UFOs.
okay, yeah, I want to see what ran through.
No, me too.
I'm so excited. What's
If
ran
you
through
can hear us,
there?
tell us what happened.
How's that sound?
Better.
Okay.
Much better.
All right, good. Now we sitting here and Pops went over to get some wood or take a leak or something, and he thought he heard me getting up out of the chair because we got our chairs on gravel, and it was something that was over here about 15 yards away, Pop, and there's a gully back over here beside us, and yeah, something big. I don't know what it was. Ran down through the gully. It ran probably about 30 yards up the gully. We tracked it up that way. As far as sound goes, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't a pig. If it was a critter, he slipped and fell or something. I don't know.
Wow.
Well, did it sound like it was running like just on two legs?
There was so much dadgum brush noise that you really couldn't tell.
Couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Dang.
But it was enough to get us both up with our guns and go in a light and go looking. So.
Wow.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah.
And this place is notorious for, pigs, and we had coyotes around us earlier, so I ain't no telling what it was. But one of the strange things that we saw when we came in this afternoon was there's 3 coyotes dead on the road, on the gravel road coming down through here. I don't know. I've never seen anything like that here. I found 1 or 2 skeletons out, like campsites and stuff, but I've never seen them laying up dead on the main road and stuff. But there was 3 coyotes with them stretched about a quarter mile.
Were they all 3 together?
No, they were spread out, and it was weird.
Did you happen, I don't mean to sound gruesome or anything, but did you happen to stop and look at the bodies or?
Well, that's just it. One of them, 2 of them was pretty much intact. But one of them, the third one was just a piece of him laying there. But,
wow.
Have you seen anything in the skies? Any strange lights or anything like that?
no, not so far. We got a lot of cloud cover though. You can't even start to see the stars shining through, so
Yeah.
it's going to have below the clouds for us to see anything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Well, keep us posted.
Well, you probably need to pay attention to what's happening if you're having that much activity out there right now.
Yeah.
Like I said, we don't know what it was, but I know it was a hell of a rocket running down through it. It almost it almost sounded like it fell down the side of the gully and then took off running down through the back. But,
Wow.
and if I was to bet, if I was to put money on it, I would probably a big old deal. But because like I said, normally when pigs come through there, normally it's not just one of them, and they're making a hell of a lot of rocket. But who knows? But
Yeah. Wow. Well, keep us posted.
Yeah, get out there and do some more investigating.
Only investigating I'm doing right now is I'm investigating this damn campfire until I keep my butt warm.
Somebody asked where Tex is. Tex is at Brown Springs tonight investigating.
I'll be out here tonight, Saturday night, Sunday night, and Monday night. So we're going to, yeah. So
There's a lot of background noise coming through on your side, Tex.
what kind of noise?
Like background noise. Do you hear it too, Becky?
Yeah.
Gary?
Yeah, I'm hearing some static too. I don't know where that's coming from.
Huh.
That's weird.
Maybe you need to look up.
Yeah, look up.
Yeah.
Hey!
Wow.
I don't necessarily want them to come pick me up and take me for another ride if that's what they did. But
I can't really hear you now.
how's that?
A little better. They're hearing the static and garble in the chat. they're saying.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and jump out of here and tell me if he's on.
I'm not sure what you said.
Well, Tex, our connection's getting real bad now, so.
Let us know if anything else happens.
You know, I felt like a news reporter live on location at Brown Springs, you know.
Right.
He should be
Bringing you the
for 3
latest
days.
breaking
He just
news.
might see something.
Like they're saying in the chat that it sounds like an SB7, you know, or spirit box.
Yeah,
or
I know,
something.
and that's why, you know, and I know you can mute him. You can do it. I just didn't know how to do it myself. And I'm like, because when I was trying to tell him to fix his mic, well, unfortunately, he's not hearing me because the sound's so bad. But you know, we're gonna work on that and fix that all weekend. So by Monday, you know, on Texas Front Porch, we'll be able to see that. And Terry, you make sure you tune in because I'm gonna make him start looking in the skies now.
Yeah. I want to know what he sees down there.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about that place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. We have
Okay.
plans to
So
go
where
there.
were we? We were talking about Dr. Greer, weren't we?
We were CE5.
This is CE5.
Yes.
If anybody's interested, I mean, there's tons of his YouTube videos out there that kind of walks you through it and his belief and how he got started. And I mean, it's mainly just to where you can get yourself into that meditative state and to the point to where you're astral traveling is what it amounts to, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, it takes practice. I mean, you just start out and I just started a little at a time because I never could meditate.
Yeah.
So do you think personally, just in your own opinion, do you think that it's better to communicate with meditation and things like that versus sending radio waves? You know, I don't know really what the difference is, but what do you think is better?
I think the meditation communication seems to be where it's at right now. I mean, I know we've got signals from them, but it seems like it takes, you know, so much longer for those signals to travel to where if you can get into that meditative state, you get there a heck of a lot faster.
Yeah, because it would seem like it'd be instantaneous, you know, it's just
Right.
kind of like, it's almost as if you were remote viewing, but
Right.
you're just remote speaking, basically.
Yep. Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Real quick too. I'm dropping links to Terry's Facebook group in the chat. If everybody would go join it, it's C5 out of Central Illinois group. Also, I'm also going to drop Daryl's group, Bigfoot Believers and Other Creatures, who we got the hats from. I'm going to drop his link out there if you guys would all go and join that group as well. He actually hit 20,000
That's great
members today. So yeah, and we've had notifications that that's the fastest growing Facebook group.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
on Facebook. So how cool is that? So
Rats.
I will drop the link for Bigfoot Believers and Other Creatures in the chat throughout the night too. So if everybody would go and join those. Yeah.
So let's touch briefly, Terry. You are in a paranormal group.
Yes.
And I'll let you explain that in just a minute. But my question is, anytime that you've been with your group and you've been out, perhaps investigating, have you seen any strange lights or things happening?
Well, Ashmore Estates, that's my go-to place. You can see for miles out there. And every time I'm out there, if I'm letting in a group or something, there's a nice place for me to sit that I'm always looking out there. I've seen
That's
stuff
a
out
great
at
place to
Ashmore.
look too.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff flying that's weird at Ashmore. Of course, I live outside the city limits, so out here you can see for miles too. So, and I'm walking my dogs at 2:00 in the morning. And we done the Cheney Mansion. Oh, it's probably been 5 years ago. And on the way home, it would have been between Root House and Carrollton. We saw a black triangle sitting right on the highway that I actually stopped the car at 3:00 in the morning because we're the only ones out there. Thank God I had a witness. But at the time, Denise was with me, and we sat and we thought it was a helicopter. It was right above the tree line, right there on the highway. We're like, what the hell is that? We seen it a mile away, saw the red lights. And so we get up to it, and it is like a huge black triangle with a red light on each corner. And it was just sitting there. I rolled down the windows. It's not making no noise. It was probably like a size of a football field, just sitting up there hovering. And all of a sudden it like rotated a little bit. And when it rotated, it shot off and it was gone. I mean, I don't know where it went. It was gone. And, we both had our cell phones, and did we even think about picking up our cell phone?
Right.
I mean, we didn't even think about it,
Yeah. And that's the thing, people say, well, why didn't you take a picture, and be it UFO, ghost, cryptid?
We sitting in the middle of the highway with a mouse hanging open going, oh my God, you see that? Like,
right. And I'm sure that's the last thing you were thinking. You were like in awe of what you were seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. Let's see here. You have it says, wow, that's so awesome. Did it ever move fast? That's what the question.
Yeah. When it took off, it cleared the sky. I mean, we couldn't even see it. And it went down. I mean, once it shot out so far, it didn't like go up. It went across. It would have went west, and the tree line actually took it out, but yeah, we didn't see it go anywhere. It was just gone. So and I've had that happen out here. I mean, I can see pretty far across the horizon. And I was standing out there one morning, and it looked like a big twinkling star. And then all of a sudden it looked like it exploded, which must have been the propulsion to send this thing off. And I mean, it went clear across the sky as far as I could see. And I'm like, okay, that's no falling star. And that's still airplane, I mean, because it cleared the whole horizon in like maybe 2 seconds.
Wow. Ken Tuck asks if you could go into more detail about the craft.
Yeah, it was just we could just see the bottom of it, and it was just a big black triangle about the size of a football field, had a red light on each corner. Of course, I couldn't see the top to see if like maybe there was a bubble on there with windows or anything. We couldn't see that. It was so close we could only see the underside of it.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
and it makes me wonder how many times have I been out like driving in the middle of the night or on a trip or whatever and seen something and dismissed it.
Right.
You don't even think about it sometimes.
The sky was so dark that night too. So, I mean, the only thing that made it stick out was those red lights. We thought, what's the helicopter doing on the side of the highway?
Yeah.
That'd be a question. What is it doing there?
At 3:00 in the morning.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
That's crazy. Did you have Holly with you?
I had Denise with me at the time.
Okay. Wow. How long ago was that?
It's been about 5 years or so.
Okay.
We were down there doing an event for the Cheney, just on our way home.
Yeah. Wow.
Have you had any more experiences since then?
Just seeing stuff from far off. I haven't seen anything that close.
Yeah. Wow.
I've probably only seen 3 of them real close over the years, and I've been chasing them since I was a kid.
So I guess I need to come see you, Teri, because I've never had a UFO encounter. I've never seen nothing weird in the sky that I know of.
I think we all just need what I tell everybody. It's make time at different times of the night and just go out there and look. one of you guys, and I don't know who it was, if it was you guys or if it was Tex. I was listening to one of y'all's podcasts one night, and he was talking about he was watching these things fly over. It kind of looked like a satellite, and he noticed when it got into the Big Dipper, they disappeared. Well,
Yeah, it
you
was
know
Tex
what?
and I. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we have that happen here. You can see them off of our deck. And my husband was out walking the dogs. He's like, come out here and look at this. And I'm like, it's a satellite. You know, it's just flying along.
Mhm.
He's like, they disappear. We stood out there for probably a half an hour and they came from all different directions. It wasn't like, okay, maybe it's Starlink and the lights went out or they ran behind
Mhm.
something. They would come from the east and the west as well, and they just got to a certain point in the area of the sky and they disappeared. I didn't pay attention if that was the Big Dipper, because after he said that, I'm like, damn, I wonder if that was the Big Dipper, because it was the
Right.
summer.
Right.
I mean, it was probably like 3 months ago. We stand outside.
Wow. That's crazy.
But I'm going to pay attention where they disappeared at.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you're like,
And we
you
saw
know,
it for several nights. I mean, this went on like for 2 weeks.
Mhm.
did it really?
About
It-
8:30. It wasn't real late because he walks the dogs before he goes to work. And I mean, it was like 8:30. And he's like, come out here. They're out here again. And we would just stand out there. And I mean, you could watch them fly and then they would just go out.
Wow.
Or were they running into a portal or
Right.
being beamed up somewhere else? I mean, where did they go? The sky's clear out here. Like you can see for miles out here.
Wow. That's
That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like
But we
they're
haven't
there 1
seen
second it's
since,
gone.
'cause I go out there and look, you know, I go out there like every day, like at 8:30 if
Mhm.
I'm sitting around not doing nothing and look for them. And I haven't seen them in months now.
You have a question here, real quick, Terry. We'll answer while you're talking about this. Ken Tuck asks, was it going from west to northeast?
They were coming from the south. No, they were coming from the north and going south
Okay.
when we saw them. But then like some of them would come in from the west and like connect to that certain spot in the sky. But most
Yeah.
of them was coming from the north going south.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you think that's kind of like an intersection, like
Well,
right there in that area?
Well, it makes you wonder because, like I said, we saw it for like 2 weeks. Every night they were out there, every night almost.
That's just weird.
Yep. And then I heard that on your podcast about that guy watching them disappear in the Big Dipper, and I'm like, I didn't even pay attention. You know, because we can see the Big Dipper out here.
Yeah.
So when I see him again, I'm going to pay attention.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because that would be cool if it is, and then you can go, okay, are they teleporting through the Big Dipper somewhere?
Right. Right. That's crazy. I know.
Yeah.
I know you said that you go to Ashmore and do a lot of sky watching and stuff. That is, to me, a perfect location.
Yeah.
Where that is, where Ashmore is.
Lights and once you walk out there past those security lights, it's darker than hell out there.
Yeah, and that's
well, you know what? It's we kind of need to talk to Rob and Terry out there because I think we need to like have a UFO night.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, it would be.
That. Actually, at the 100th birthday party, Ben Hansen was out there, and of course he had a fancy little telescope, and they put up like this screen, and we watched UFOs fly over. He knew like how the Russian satellites, you know, some fly in pairs, some fly with 3. He knew where they were all at, and he could just point that telescope and pull them in. And he's like, but that right there, I can't even tell you what that is flying up there. And I mean, it's up there just going around. I mean, it wasn't following a straight line.
Right.
So, that was pretty cool.
I don't know. Like I said, we could have a UFO watch party and maybe talk to Ben and see if he can come.
Ben out there.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just have a watch party. I mean, dang.
That honestly is a great location. However, to schedule something like that, I don't know how that would work with the weather, you know.
Right.
On my luck, it would be a cloudy night.
Cloudy day, we'd all be, that wouldn't go over so well.
Well, I guess, darn it, we just have to go ghost hunt.
There you go.
I know. Isn't that awful? That would be just terrible.
Yeah, right.
All of a trade-off.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, who has a UFO watch party? I don't know. So because I
Which
mean
is
that happened to
basically
us.
the CE5, but at least when we go to a haunted location, it's kind of, you kind of know where you're going. It's kind of weird to go, hey, y'all want to go out and sit in the dark and see what flies over,
Right.
Well, I have to bring this up. Now, I was with Teri's group, and we were in Indiana. We were at the Indiana State Sanitarium. Because of the bat situation, we decided to call it early because the bats were a lot. So one of the other girls and I decided, hey, let's sit outside. Let's watch the skies because it was beautiful. The stars were out. I mean, the weather was good. We're like, okay. We got out there for about 30 minutes. And then next thing you know, a storm rolled in. It started raining. And we're like, well, now what do we do? So we're like, let's investigate. And in the place that we were staying, that used to be a part of the hospital that they had torn down, but then they built this other building there that is now their lodging. And so we went inside and sat in the hallways for hours, and you would not believe the stuff we pulled out of there. We were hearing disembodied voices. We were, we had equipment going off. Teri even walked out. She got up and he was going to the restroom, and next thing you know, the lights started going off, and she was like,
yeah, that was weird.
She's like, wow, you guys are having fun out here. We were just sitting in the hallway. So
I mean, Carl Jones is on the Facebook, and he just commented and said, let me get to it here. He said, I'll be back in Illinois from middle of May until July. We can have a watch party at my daughter's house in Auburn. Have fire, food, drinks, etc. We often see UFOs there. Sounds like a party to me.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
get a hold of us. He moved, so I didn't get out there. But yeah, his daughter lives out on a piece of ground right outside Springfield, and I guess they just go out there and sit around a campfire and have a party. And he said they see all kinds of stuff out there.
Wow.
Yeah, let's do it. We can mark it on our calendar somewhere. So get a hold of us because we're very interested in doing that.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, for sure. How cool is that? Letitia says, sounds like fun. I'm
well, come on, Letitia. It's going to be a watch party. Nothing better than sitting around with a bunch of friends watching the sky.
Yep, exactly. And that's the thing, like people, I think myself, like I don't look up in the sky. I don't think to look up. However, I need to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, especially when you're driving. I mean, just watch the clouds because you wouldn't believe some of the things you're like, was that a little silver disc that I saw cut through there?
Right. Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I really need to. Letitia says, count me in.
Letitia, we'll get you the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Right.
So let's talk about, do you know anything about the LA when we shot at the spaceships back in many, many years ago? I've heard a little bit about it.
I've heard about the case, but I haven't really put a lot into it. But while we're talking about that, everybody knows the Roswell case. And Dr. Greer, you just got to know him. Like, I'm honestly surprised he's not dead because he comes out with secrets that he probably shouldn't be telling. And he gets like all these government people that work behind the scenes to tell him and give him paperwork to where he's got legit information on some of these cases. So in Roswell, the story that I just ran into a couple weeks ago when I was watching some video of this, in 1947, Roswell was the only place in the world that housed atomic weaponry. And the only thing, my theory is they are trying to save our stupid butts from destroying each other and destroying our planet. I think that's why they truly come here. There's many sightings of them around, all these nuclear warheads that we've got out there, all the plants and stuff. So the story that he was sharing the other day in 1947, when they showed up at Roswell, the U.S. government shot them down with some kind of a ray gun. They did not crash. The U.S. government supposedly shot them down. And he supposedly has evidence of that.
Wow.
I don't
Interesting.
know if it would be paperwork or, like a sworn statement from somebody in the government.
Right.
But Dr. Greer has he's presented all the UF information to multiple presidents and the highest government officials that you have. But the only bad thing is we have secret government groups that keep us from all the mainstream information and what they're shooting down and what they're seeing and aliens that are live in some of these places. And
Right.
I mean, we'll
Yeah,
never know.
you have to love them 3-letter agencies for
Yeah.
real.
That MJ12. Let's just start there.
Yeah,
Right.
just call it something else.
And I mean, it's just funny. Like some of these people, like Kennedy was going to blow the roof off of it, and he ends up dead. Marilyn Monroe was going to blow the roof off of it. She ends up dead. There's many people that are like, okay,
Right.
I've had enough, and then they mysteriously end up dead.
Somebody's trying to keep them quiet, is what it sounds like to me.
Exactly. That's my theory.
Yeah, and I mean it's kind of like, well, now the secret's out. They kind of had a leak, I should say. And now that we're finding out that these things are real, that for all these years it hasn't been our imaginations and things like that. I mean, they have to say something about where some of this technology is coming from, because
I think there's so many sightings and so many people are looking up and seeing stuff that they've got to go, well, yeah, we don't know what they are, but you're never going to find out, who's the men in black, what are they doing,
Yeah.
And I know Project Blue Book was a show just on TV, but you can't tell me if a UFO crashes on your property and the MIB show up that they don't either swear you to secrecy by threatening your life or they're going to kill your whole family. Yeah, I just find that.
Yeah.
They would do it. They would do it rather than say, hey, Teri had this silver disc crash out in her backyard and there was 3 aliens.
Wow.
yeah. I mean, do you remember that show? What was it? The X-Files?
Yeah.
I like
You
that.
remember?
was a good
I
show.
remember like some of those shows, and I'm thinking, oh, that stuff's crazy. They're just making up stuff, and then I'm thinking, now maybe not.
Well, and I
Maybe
know we
not.
wanted to talk about Cape Girardeau. A lot of,
Yes.
everybody knows Roswell, but in April of 1941, a craft crashed in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. And they actually called Reverend Huffman out. It was like maybe 10 miles outside of town. And they called him out there because there was 3 bodies in the craft. And at first they thought it was a small aircraft. So they called him out there to pray over these people because I guess a couple of them were dead. Well, they come and pick him up. They whisk him out there. Well, he remembers seeing like hieroglyphics and these strange, like the motherboard of the ship. And they were they pulled 3 bodies out of the craft. And he said they were only like 3.5 foot tall. And they had like little silver uniforms on, really couldn't tell if they were male or female, but he knew that they weren't human. And then like 10 minutes later, the Air Force shows up and somebody pulls up a black car and takes him back home and swore him to secrecy. And the only reason this came out is on his deathbed, he told his daughter. And she ran with the story. So there's not much information because 30, 40 years went by that he kept this a secret because they probably threatened his life. I mean, he didn't even go home and tell his wife. He just said it was an awful plane crash and the U.S. government took care of it. And that was the end of the story.
Wow. So do you know of the area in Cape Girardeau where that happened? Is that like public information?
It's more or less a cornfield now. There's a gentleman named Michael Huntington that lives there. And I'm friends with him on Facebook and I've talked to him a lot because I asked him, I'm like the 75th year, I actually saw like a YouTube video where he was on TV and they done like a brief stint about it, but the city kind of like brushes it under the rug. They don't want nothing to do with it. But Michael actually sent me photos of where they thought it crashed at, which, all those years went by. So maybe it was right there. It's in that general area, I should say, but it's just a cornfield now.
Wow.
Well, now isn't that funny that they don't, the city just doesn't want to talk about it and they don't want to be associated with it? But yet,
Passion
Teri,
on Roswell.
right. But you also attended an alien convention.
Well,
Right
Michael
there,
Huntington,
UFOs.
Yeah.
Michael Huntington actually put that on last year, and it was in Cape Girardeau, this beautiful hotel, and the convention center was right there. You parked your car on Thursday and didn't have to get back into it until you went home on Sunday. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, it was great. I mean, he had like Debbie was there, the president of the Missouri MUFON, and her friend Margie Kay was there. And I mean, they had some great speakers, and you just sat all day and listened to speakers. And Ryan Sprague was there, which I think he now lives in England, but he has a podcast and yeah. So yeah, it was great hanging out for 3 days, and aliens were everywhere.
That's cool. That's really cool. I met Margie Kay. She came to the ranch when we did the paranormal roundup.
Oh yeah,
Speaker there the first year. You were there that year, weren't you?
I guess I wasn't.
You weren't there when the Kling brothers came?
Yeah.
Margie Kay was one of the speakers.
Oh, I must have missed her because I left for a brief time. I bet I missed her.
Yeah, she was one of the.
Yeah, her and Debbie are great.
Yeah, so I'm getting a message here that Tex is asking about. Tex wants to know about the Aura crash. Do you know anything about that?
I don't know anything about that one.
Aurora. Is it Aurora?
Aurora? I don't know. I don't know
Well,
anything.
let me write it down.
Yeah, I'll check into that one.
Yeah.
Most definitely. I'm reading some of the comments here.
And I know down there in Brown Springs where he's at, there's a lot of UFO sightings in Brown Springs.
Yep. So Tex, look up at the sky. Don't be looking forward. Look up too.
Yeah. Look around and look up.
Yeah. That's like I said, I'm back for looking up, but I'm going to, like, next time we go to the LBL, I'm not going to be just looking forward. I'm looking up too.
Well, and I think Michael's going to have that convention again this year. I haven't seen no dates, but it was like September last year. I want to say it's like the beginning of September, August or September last year.
Well, if you get a date, let us know.
Yeah, I keep up with him.
Yeah, because I would definitely like to attend. I mean, I was going to do it last year and then I just didn't. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, we had a good time.
Yeah.
He had Bigfoot people there. It wasn't all UFO, but he had a couple of Bigfoot speakers there. And
that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Bigfoot and the UFO thing, and we can talk about that in the second half, but my personal opinion, all that stuff's intertwined, and that's, something we can talk about in the next part of the show. But so I could see why he would have Bigfoot speakers at a UFO conference.
Yeah. Well, there's
absolutely
lights in the woods. It seems like where Bigfoot's at, they see these strange lights moving around, and
we did.
Yeah,
we did. Yes, we did. And so it's got to be connected. I mean, it's got to be. And I don't even know what to say, and I don't know how much or how little it's connected, but there's something there. There's something there.
Yeah. So Clayton
Carl had a theory. Carl spoke at Perry Unity Day one year, and I can't remember.
I was there that year.
So if he's still out there, he can correct me. But he had a theory, or somebody had said that they saw Bigfoot walking, and they were carrying like a ball of light with them. And the theory was maybe that's how they teleported into where we couldn't see him, or how they disappeared so quick. I guess somebody seen him walking out in the woods with these balls of light the size of a basketball. He was talking about it. It was really interesting. Carl knows a lot about it. He's like the walking history book of weird.
Yeah, I was there that year that he spoke, and I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago, if I'm thinking right.
It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah, yep. And Clayton says the secret government group is Department of the Interior. So that's
we just call them the powers that be, Krista.
Yeah.
That powers
that be, Krista. Shush, Krista.
Yeah.
On to something else. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how many people would be interested if we did an event like that, do a UFO watch party. How many people would be interested in that? That would be just too cool.
Yeah.
Because a lot out there.
Yeah, think about it. Ashmore Estates. It's in a field. The highest thing out there is corn.
Yeah.
That's
We need to
it.
plan that maybe in 20. I know all the Saturdays are gone already this year, and I think almost all the Fridays are too. So we need to plan that maybe in 2024. And like you said, if it rains or it's cloudy, well, we'll just
We'll
have
go
to-
time.
Darn
Yeah.
the luck.
Or we can do both. I
There
mean,
you go.
yeah, I think we should try and make an event of it. And
We could talk to Robin and see and do a blonde /
That would be
after
fun.
dark.
well, or do a blonde CE5
There you
of
go.
Illinois.
Yeah.
And then we'll just get it together and see what we can work out. But that does sound cool.
That would be
It
fun.
does. It does. It does sound cool.
I mean, and if you put it out there, we get a date and put it out on one of your podcasts, and anybody around that area that wants to drive out there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you can find
Exactly.
10 people pretty easy. I mean, all you need is 10, basically.
Yeah.
The more the merrier, but 10 would be
Right.
cool.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna we got to get ready to go to break here, but I am gonna put one comment up, and I agree with you, Straw Dog. Brandy, you need to teach Krista how to roll her brim properly. I agree. I've not done anything, but I will.
Yeah, mine wasn't even ready, but we had to do this for Daryl, and mine was already rolled, and I had it with a rubber band, and I had it rolled, and she's like, "Well, we got to wear them," and I'm like, "But mine's not ready." So after this, I got to go put it back in the rubber band and ball. So
Yeah, I'll be doing that to my own too. So
we'll get her taken care of.
right. All right. Well, we got to take a break, guys.
Okay.
That we do, and then, like I said, when we come back, we'll get into more of like the woo type stuff with.
Yeah, I want to talk about abductions and things like that. So yeah,
Okay.
I do too, and different types of aliens. Because
yes.
anyway, we'll save it for the next, because I know people think they walk among us. So I want to see what you have to say about that.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay,
All right.
everybody, we'll see you in 5 minutes.
Stay tuned.
Four minutes to go, folks. 4 minutes. Three minutes. We're almost there. 2-minute warning, guys. 2-minute warning. One minute. 1 minute.
Hey, welcome back.
We back.
We made it. I'm surprised. I was wondering there. I'm trying to flick everything off. I've got all these messages coming in. I'm like, why does everybody have to wait to Friday night?
I know, right? That's me too. That's me too. I'm with you. I am with you on that. But I've been getting a lot of messages about what's going on with my kids. So,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure.
yeah. So that's been a lot of my messages. Anyway, yeah. Let's talk some weirdness.
Let's talk some weirdness. Let's get into, the abductions. Now, Terry, you say that the UFOs and the aliens are coming in to help us protect our planet, to basically stop us from killing ourselves, basically. So my question to you is abductions. What role is this playing in that plan?
Well, nobody knows for sure, but my theory is that I don't think they can reproduce. And the only reason I say that is because I've read many reports and they say, like, when children are abducted, they're so specific with the details of the being that was in their room that came and got them at nighttime. Sometimes they look like clowns, or, they disguise themselves so the kids aren't like scared. But one of it was mentioned they never can tell if they're a boy or a girl, and they never talk about seeing genitals. So what if they can't reproduce and they have to come and get humans to carry on through their species?
That's a good theory.
But why else are they here?
Yeah.
And the Betty and Barney Hill case just blows my mind, and I've seen many documentaries on it. Those people were so precise in being on the craft. They described the walls, the different species of aliens that were there, and it seemed like some of them were just like worker bees, and then the other ones would have been like the doctors and the ones collecting samples. So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure why they would abduct a human, but there's too many cases that are so far out that these people can't lie. I'm just convinced they can't lie. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Terry Lovelace. He was abducted in Missouri. If you've ever read The Incident at Devil's Den, if half of that book is true, you won't sleep for a week.
What part of Missouri? I'm just curious. What part of Missouri?
It was down by Fort Leonard. It was south. It was in Devil's Den where that tower thing is at.
Okay.
It's like in a park, but he was in the military at Fort Leonard. So it's in southern Missouri, down by Fort Leonard.
Gene Hudson just said the Tex interviewed a woman who said she was abducted to have babies for them. Was a very interesting interview. I bet that was.
There are YouTube videos of this woman, of several women that went to the doctor. They got their sonogram pictures. There's a baby in there. And then all of a sudden they have these weird dreams that they see lights and aliens. And the next day they might spot some blood and they go to the doctor. The baby's gone. It ain't like it came out anywhere. The baby is the fetus is gone. Where did it go?
Right. That's weird. Now that's woo.
And there's many cases. That's like, that's bizarre. And then there's one, I think she's from England. She even has had it happen to her like 3 or 4 times. And supposedly they brought her children back so that she could see them. And they're mixed. They're like a human alien. And she said she knows they're her kids because it's her eyes that she looks at them. And they like brought them for a visit. Sounds far-fetched, but what if? I mean, they're coming and getting these people for a reason.
Right.
You know?
Well, and that's just, you know, I would think being a mom, you know, and I know you are both moms, you know, your whole, I actually had this conversation with Letitia today about, you know, as soon as you're a mom, everything changes. Like you've never loved like you have until you see your child, you know? So I could understand where a mom could see and know that was her child, be it alien or not. I get that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay. So hang on. I'm getting my thought together. So basically they're waiting to, I'm going to say harvest these babies from their mothers when they're in a viable state where they have all their organs, limbs, and all of that stuff fully developed before they're taking them, or are they taking them as a fetus?
Well, it would be, I would say that they're pretty far along. Yeah. I mean, because there's stories where everybody's, you know, waiting for the lady to, you know, the family's waiting for the baby to get here. And then all of a sudden she just wakes up after having this weird vision and the baby's totally gone. I mean, there's no even remnants of the baby left.
Right. Well, Scott is asking, is it documented? And I probably so, if she had a baby and then go back and there's no baby.
Yeah, I mean, she would have her sonogram. I can't remember her name. I know there's several YouTube videos, and that one lady is from England.
Wow.
Yeah, but just like anything woo, agencies are not going to let you get that information easily.
And what's the government going to do with it? You think the government's going to come forward and said, yeah, that lady was 6 months pregnant and the aliens came and took her baby? You know, it sounds so far-fetched and so bizarre, but I mean, what else would they want?
Exactly.
I mean, they don't need our brain power. They don't need our technology.
No. And here's another comment. It says, Bud Hopkins, Book Intruders, talks about the abductions and crossbreeding. The woman in the book has seen her alien hybrid children.
Yep.
That's scary. Has she ever been able to have like a carry to full term?
Not this lady's in specific that I'm talking about. I mean, there's many cases out there once you get to digging on the internet, but this is a YouTube video where she's on a YouTube video.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you think like attracts these to certain people? You know, I mean, what makes this woman and this baby appeal to? Yeah,
right. Is it blood type?
I'm not saying that you know the answer, Terry, but it's just I'm thinking out loud here. You know, what would make a woman more?
Well, and I don't know. You would have to study that. Are they all blonde hair? Are they all brunette? I mean, are they all 125 pounds? You know, is there a certain body structure that they all have? You know?
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. Is it blood type? Perhaps are they all O positive, O negative, RH, or whatever? You know, AB negative, whatever it is.
Interesting to dig into if you can find it, but you know, then you have to, you know.
Yeah, and
I mean, it definitely wouldn't be the same people because Barney and Betty Hill, one was white and one was black, and they supposedly took samples of both from them. And I mean, Ben Hansen done a documentary on that, and
I saw that one.
I don't know how much you know of the case, but one of the relatives, I think her niece, still has the dress that she wore the night they got abducted. And Ben Hansen, they let him have it, and I mean, you can see the holes in the fabric where they stuck that needle into her stomach. It's in the stomach area on the dress.
I saw that episode.
That was a hell of a documentary, the one that he had in it.
Yeah.
Right. There was a comment about sometimes babies are absorbed back into the body. And that is true. But we're talking about babies that are viable, are viable one day, and the very next day they're just gone. A baby will not absorb back into the body that quickly.
Right.
So
yeah. Well, how long you're on the sonogram? You're like 3 or 4 months before you have a sonogram. So I mean, there's actually a little baby in there with legs and arms and hands. You know, it's not like it's just a little blob in a heart. You know.
You know, and I have to laugh about that because when I had my children, every time I seen that first sonogram, I'd be, oh, look at it's my little alien baby, because they look like aliens. They really do. So, I mean,
it's something we'll probably never know the answer for. And there's tons of theories and everybody's got an idea, but
yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine why else they would want us.
Yeah. So there's been a couple blood type Rh negative or a lot of abductions. And then Daryl says sometimes it goes back generations on abduction. And hold on, I got to put a dog up because he's playing with his toy and he's making a lot of noise. So
is that the big one?
No, it's the little one. I'll be right back.
No. Yeah, because if you were to look at the sonogram at first, how would you know?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, how would you know? Because of all reports of what people have said that aliens look like. Well, I mean, a sonogram, you're looking at a baby, and it how would you know just by looking at it? I wouldn't. I mean, that confuses me, but yet it's like it makes sense.
Well, and then we have a mutual friend, and I don't know if he would want me to say his name on a podcast, but we were having a conversation one day, and his theory is maybe they impregnate the female and she carries it so long, and then so not maybe so much trauma to come and get the baby at 9 months. They take the baby when it's only 3 or 4 months and put that in a cow, and then now you've got all the cow mutilations. Sounds bizarre, but nobody would know if a cow was pregnant with a human baby. It's not going to gain the weight.
No,
it sounds bizarre, but when they find these cows,
that is bizarre.
I mean, they're surgically removed pieces off of them. You know, it's not like a coyote got them or whatever. You know, there's no chew marks. They have pieces where their genitals are missing and their tongues are missing, and there's no blood. And I don't know.
I've heard about that, where they have found cows where they are just absent of blood. There's nothing. It's like somebody went out there and siphoned it.
I mean, if there's pieces missing, it's not ripped off, it's surgically removed.
Right.
So who's going to go out and surgically remove pieces from a cow?
And be so precise.
Yeah, right.
That's some crazy stuff. That is some crazy stuff.
And I mean, usually the radiation counts are high when they find the cow mutilations, and there might be pressed down grass circles in the ground, and I mean it's something we're never going to know. But I could sit around and talk about it. I like to hear everybody's opinions too.
Well, come to think of it, now I could be wrong here, but Skinwalker Ranch was showing cow mutilation. Like they found cattle out there, and it had high radiation counts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why would a cow have any type of large radiation counts out there?
On that specific show that I saw, they actually saw a silver disc over those trees, and remember, all the rest of the herd had left, and that one cow was laying on the ground when they took the picture of that silver disc above the ground. That was the only cow out there. And then like the next day or hours later, it was dead.
Wow. You know who we have to ask that question to also? See if it happened out there? Thomas Ferrario at Marley Woods.
Yeah. That
You know,
We need to have him back on.
yeah, because I mean, he was reporting the same type of thing as Skinwalker Ranch. And, you know, with the radiation, I wonder if they tested for radiation because we didn't get into that when we talked to him last.
Oh, I bet he did.
Yeah.
I bet you he did
He's
too.
coming out with a documentary, isn't he?
I know. I
Yes.
can't wait for it.
Why
I'm so excited.
His wife had been sick, so
I
he
see that.
kind of took a break. But I need to reach out to him and see if he'll come back on the show because he was
Yeah.
a great guest.
Because we were supposed to all go have lunch one day, and
Right.
His wife got
you know,
sick.
his wife got sick, so we were just waiting around. So we need to reach back out to him because he is fantastic. I
yeah.
love him.
I do too. He was good. He was definitely good. Let's go more into the mutilation and the crop circles. Because I've heard where they kind of like where you see a crop circle, then like a local farmer will have a cow mutilation. Is that true?
In some instances, but you know, a lot of people say that that's people out there walking on boards too, and I find that hard to believe. I mean, they say some of them are man-made. If you could make one and I could sit there and watch you, I might believe it, but I mean, some of them are so intricate and beautiful and detailed. There's no way nobody could stomp around in a field walking on a 2x4 and make a crop circle.
I agree.
Well, there would be an entry point somewhere. And there isn't any. Because I don't care how careful you are, you're going to make a path through corn. You just are. You're going to make a path.
We actually had a case here in the 80s. Like a couple of guys I used to go hunting with and went to school with, they do a podcast here in Quincy. And in the 80s, my brother saw a UFO going to Payson. Well, come to find out, I was on their podcast. We'd done a UFO thing. One of the guys their dad had a farm out there in the 80s. And we got to talking, and it was about the same time of year that my brother saw this UFO going to Payson. The guy had crop circles in his field, and you know, he's this big tough farmer and didn't want to talk about it, but Chris just happened to be there, you know, when he found it. But he found it out there because the cattle, he didn't find mutilated cattle, but they were all like mooing and throwing a fit, and that's what made him go out there and look, because he thought maybe coyotes was after him or something. And he found crop circles in the field, and those cows were out there just having a fit.
Wow.
No.
That's
like 8 miles from my house now.
How far?
8 miles. Yeah, Payson isn't very far from out here.
Oh, wow. Yeah. No, thank you.
It's like, no, thank you. No, thank you. Okay, Teri. For a lot of people who don't know, there's a couple questions here that don't know the differences between the aliens. What type of aliens have been documented, the different species, and can you tell us because I know what you say, like the close encounters. Can you just tell us what they are, 1 through 5, so we all know?
The aliens, they say there's like 70 different breeds. Now I don't know about all of that and how they would determine, you know, what's what. Most of us have heard the grays and reptilians, and that's basically what I follow. I mean, there's so many when you get to looking, but I don't know like who documents this, or like who has seen the different species and, you know, named them. I mean, it's mostly the grays where they're short, and that seems to be the high on the list. But I think the reptilians, and I know before break we talked that some people think they walk among us. I think they've been here a long time.
Yeah,
I think they have too.
Yeah,
I think they have too. And okay, so the close encounters. I know that you said that CE5 is it like number 5? Like communicating through telepathy. So what is the close encounters like 1, 2, 3, 4?
The Close Encounters one is where it's a visual sighting of a UFO that you might just be out and it's something up there that is not a plane flying around.
Mhm.
Which most people see, yeah.
Most people
Right.
see. The CE2 is some a physical trace, like we were talking radiation, crop circles. You think you see a light and you go out there and there's this big indentation in the ground. That would be considered a CE2. CE3 is actually spotting a UFO and you see occupants through a glass window. I mean, you're actually connecting like some kind of life with that unit. CE4 is a human is taken aboard and abducted, and then they come back with all these stories we hear about.
Right.
And then CE5 is actually we're making contact with them. We
With
are
them.
sending it out there for them to come to our planet. And we're like, Dr. Greer considers it peace ambassadors. Our government's hiding so many things, and this is going to come true if we've heard about the balloons all the last couple of weeks shooting these UFOs down, and they're supposed to be balloons. Dr. Greer's theory is the government's going to come forward and want us to all be afraid that there's going to be a big war and they're going to come and annihilate us off the planet. I'm sorry, if they wanted to do that, they would have done it by now. You watch the government. This is in the months to come. We are going to be, I think this is good. All this balloon and shooting these alien ships down, whether they were or not. I don't even believe some of them are, but whatever. Say they were. I mean, nobody's posting evidence of that. There's nothing out there showing us what they shot down.
Yeah.
But the government is going to want us to be afraid. So Dr. Greer's trying to push the CE5 where, I mean, if we can get millions of people to do it, they're going to know that this planet ain't so bad, but it's just actually a vibe out there, maybe.
Shane has a question for you real quick, Teri, West Coast Dogman. Says, have you ever had a CE5 event like the ones Dr. Stephen Greer has had?
I've had where they have flashed their light back. Like I've sat and meditated and I went out and done my meditation in my astral travel. We do use laser lights, and like maybe draw a circle in the sky and you just blink it a few times. I have had them answer me back with blinks. And he has had that. He does most of his stuff out in Arizona in the desert where you can see for miles. But
miles.
I've never felt like a being has come back to Earth and set in my area while I'm out there. But I have had some strange, weird dreams that are like just too weird.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was like their telepathy coming back to me. Or maybe I'm just weird and I had a weird dream. I'm not sure there. So
there are no weird.
I have to tell you a quick funny story. Like, I don't know if y'all know Motivite, the stone Motivite. Have you heard of it? It's a little green stone. Okay, it's supposed to be connected with aliens. So everybody knows Donna at It's Raining Zen. So I go down there because she's the only person I trust with getting me real Motivite. So I go down there and I get a piece and I bring it back and I'm like sleeping with it. She's like, put it in this little bag and put it in your pillow and just sleep with it. I'm like, okay. I had the weirdest ass dreams. Like there were aliens taking selfies out in my front yard and putting them on Facebook. Why would I dream that? But then they were here and I have a big field out behind my house and I'm like, they landed in the field and I'm like, you're just crazy and you have it on the brain. So yeah, I have some weird dreams of aliens. So.
Well, let me tell you, there's no weirdos here on Woo Night. Nope.
That's why we're
not
here.
Loud.
Yeah.
And they have like the Libyan desert glass. Have you ever seen it? It goes with it too. And it's supposed to be where alien crafts have landed in the desert and it's so hot that it melts the sand into glass.
Wow.
And you mix that.
Now I've not heard of that.
You get like a double whammy. So like I've got all this in its own little special box.
Well,
I'm trying to get them beamed in.
Yeah, well, because I've heard of Moldavite and that's what it's for, and it's hard to get a hold of, and it's expensive.
Oh, it is
It
buku.
is. It is expensive. So if anybody out there is thinking, "Oh, I'm going to go pick up some," no, you're not.
Yeah.
Nope.
No, you're not.
$20, save you $20 because it's not real.
Yeah, it's fake. It's fake. You're for an itty bitty piece, you're going to be paying a lot of money. A lot of money.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Now you said that was Libyan what?
It's called Libyan desert glass.
All right. Let me write that down.
Down.
Yeah, because I want to look it up.
I'm sorry, I would only buy it from its Rainings Inn. Just save you a little trip to Alton because I don't trust it from anybody else.
It's Raining Zen. I've been in that store.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Donna can actually put Motivite right here to her throat, and when she talks like a robot, and that's how she tells when they go to all of those gym shows and stuff to buy that. That's how she knows she's getting the real stuff. It's bizarre. She did it for me one day, and I'm like freaking out. But yeah, she just lays it on her throat.
Susie B asked, "Isn't that sand hit by lightning?"
It could be, but that's the story I heard.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, like I said, it's you never know.
Yeah. If it's connected to aliens, what the hell? I'll put it in the box.
Right. Well, Kiara says, make sure you buy Moldavite from a reputable company with a certificate of I can't say that word, but
authenticity.
So many people fake. Yeah, there's so much fake stuff out there, and it
Yes.
usually has bubbles in it. The real stuff I have tiny little bubbles in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have a ton of different crystals, and that is a piece I do not own. One of these days, I'm going to get me a piece.
I bought some right before it got real stupid. I've bought one piece since then, but yeah, I got in on that before it went crazy. I wish I would have bought more, but it's hard to find.
What? Yeah, I mean, because it's not a real pretty stone.
It's green.
It's great.
It's a moss green, and it's textured. Like mine has like a pattern like on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not the most beautiful piece out there. It really is not. But the properties on it are extensive. So if you have some, hang on to it. Hang on to it.
I'm going to throw some comments and questions up here, guys.
Okay.
Been going on throughout the show. Clayton Blackwell says, I still believe that the Roswell incident was a Russian saucer that they got from hijacking the Nazi scientists that developed their saucers. Proven fact. That's interesting.
Let me write that down because you know what? I didn't know anything about that.
I know. Yeah. Let's see. Next one. Let's put up. Do you use a high power burning laser for summoning or bright lights?
Yeah, they're high power.
Mm-hmm.
Just make sure you don't point it at aircraft because that's like $100,000 fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be in the flight path of anything, I guess.
Yeah.
When you're out there, make sure you know where you're shooting it before you even hit that button.
Yeah, exactly. Well, make sure you know where your airport is and the flight path.
Right.
Yeah. So can you? Where do you buy a high powered light like that? Can you just go on Amazon?
They're pretty cheap anymore. You can get them off of Amazon. You want like a 3,000. I forget what the letters are behind it.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to get it strong enough to get it there, but
yeah. So next one is Grandmaster says Greer blacked out private contractors in his comprehensive briefing and also kept his energy research secret. That's interesting.
Well, probably because they would kill him if he let everything out that he.
I was going to say there is a purpose.
Yeah. And then
the man is trying to stay alive.
When the government admitted that we do have UFOs and released, everybody got excited over that 1,385 pages. Half of it was blacked out with a pen. So the government didn't tell us nothing that we didn't already know. I mean, we all know there's something else out there. There was no, I read the 385 pages. There's no deep, dark secrets in those pages.
Right. It's already public knowledge. But I mean, of course, the powers that be have to give a soft release
Right.
of these things, so they don't.
Oh, let's just feed them a little bit so they'll go away until the next time.
Yeah, let's just appease the crowd and we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's true. Dr. Greer and several of his associates have had cancer.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the next comment.
Yep. There's 2 or 3 of them that his real close comrades that he's lost to cancer.
Wow. And this one here, I think, has to do when we were talking about the X-Files, and I think that's interesting. The first year was taken from FBI files.
Yep.
Yeah, see, because I was talking about that, and I'm like, well, it's just stories that these were made up. Now I know a lot more than I used to, and I'm thinking they weren't too far off from the truth. Of course, they embellish a lot, to make it all entertaining, but
right.
I mean, a lot of the accounts and experiences I'm hearing these days, well, they're very close, very close.
That show that Ben Hansen had that I just loved, it was called UFO Witness.
I like it.
He had documents from Hynek's Blue Book, and the lady, I can't remember her name, she passed away while he was still doing the show. She had all of Hynek's records in her basement, and so he had access to all of that.
Wow.
Well, I'm not sure. There was a gentleman that always went and fetched whatever he was looking for. So I don't know if he would have got the records after she passed away, because she was single. I mean, I think her husband had already died.
Wow.
So I wonder where all them records went, because I'd like to sit and dig through them for a few months.
Yeah.
Right. Teri, I don't think we'd ever see you again.
You would never. Yeah.
We'd have to bring her food and water.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine all the pictures and all the statements from the actual people? And
Right.
That would be
Yeah, that would definitely be something crazy. I mean, it would take you forever to go through all that, I'm sure.
Oh, you get lost just on the internet. I'll just sit here and go, oh, well, I ain't got nothing to do. I'll go down this rabbit hole, and like 4 hours go by.
You're like, wait a minute.
I have a spiral notebook in every room of my house, because that's where I stop with the laptop on my phone.
And people laugh, but yeah, I have mine with little tabs and everything, because
I got mine.
I'm constantly writing down things. Chris and I have mentioned this before. That's why we love doing this, because we learn so much from talking to the people in chat and talking to our guests. And I mean, things that we never even thought of.
Well, so that's a story or a theory. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's paranormal or Bigfoot or Dogman or UFOs. Everybody's had a personal experience that they are willing to share. So, I mean, I'm not going to call anybody a liar. If you want to sit down and tell me a story, I'm going to take it at face value. I wasn't there. So,
Right. Exactly. Let's talk about it.
Well, Teri's told me some stories too. So,
Well, and another thing that we haven't mentioned is in the ocean. I think a lot of these crafts are underwater.
Absolutely. I mean, they talk about all the seismic activity going on, in the ocean.
Way down there.
I mean, how much is that of the earth, and how much is that the earth being moved by something unknown?
Well, and there's so many documentaries of the U.S. Navy that their ships have been attacked out in the middle of the ocean where nobody's going to see them. Of course, then once again the government closes their mouth and they're sworn to secrecy and don't say nothing when you step back on the land. But little pieces peep out every now and again. And I don't know if y'all watched Project Blue Book, but that's how the story ended. And then they didn't make season 3, and I was so mad that I was mad over it for days, because he went down in the ocean in that submarine thing and found them all underneath the cliff at the bottom of the ocean.
Wow. Yeah, that's nuts. Kiara says, I totally agree with Teri. They likely can't reproduce. Why else would they abduct women to reproduce and take the baby?
Yep.
So that goes back to,
or is it something on their home planet, or, just
immune system thing, maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Where something's happened to their, to their species, where they're not able to anymore, or it's getting harder and harder. It's kind of like, what do we do when we can't have children? Well, we either adopt or we find a surrogate. Maybe they're holding human women as their surrogate.
Right.
That's it's a possibility.
We don't know, but yeah.
And then a lot of that could go right into the missing 411.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Because like I said, what we as humans, if you or your partner cannot have children for one reason or another, a surrogate.
Right.
People have done that.
They actually have a documentary on UFOs called 411. I don't remember the rest of it, but I think it's from that same producer of those other ones.
Yeah.
It's not out yet.
Well,
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Then it's going to be good.
Well, David Paulides just put out one here a month or so ago, maybe 2 months ago, and that's worth watching. I don't know if you guys have watched that, but that's worth watching. That was a good one.
I catch some of his stuff, and Steve Stockton is another one that I listen to quite frequently. So yeah, if you've not listened to any of those, try those two. I love those.
Yep, I highly recommend both of them.
I know Dr. Greer's working on another one, but if you haven't seen The Unacknowledged, it's on like Amazon.
The Unacknowledged. Let me write it down.
Unacknowledged.
Now, what exactly is that about for everybody?
About all of his theories behind the government and the UFOs, and it's
right up my alley.
Yeah, it goes into CE5 a little bit. Yeah, it's a pretty good one. It makes you think,
Yeah, for sure. Strangeland says time frames, glitches, time jumps, and delays are real. I've witnessed lots compared with the location, time with numbers and items, people changing in ways with time. So time loss is another thing.
People, strange lights, and you've got some time missing. Pay attention to that.
Yeah. Because we just talked about this. How many times have you left to drive somewhere and you get there and you don't remember how you got there?
Holly actually has a story, and her grandma's still alive. She's in her 90s, but Holly remember being in the back seat, and her and her grandma and her mom were going down the highway, and they saw this strange light in the middle of the highway, and the next thing they remembered, they're home, but they lost an hour and a half.
Right, go figure.
How do you do that?
It's like, how did I not die? Because I don't remember.
You're supposed to be home at 10:30, and it's now midnight.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't remember where you went.
Did I run red lights? Was I even driving on the road? I don't know.
Right, exactly. Let's see here. We have, let's go back to some more.
Well, there's actually been cases like when they're abducted and you notice strange things, you don't remember being maybe on the craft itself or what they did to you, but you're in your car and you notice that your shoe's on the wrong foot, or one of your socks is missing, or your shirt's not buttoned right.
Yeah.
Or like me getting up early in the morning and then getting to work and going, my shirt's inside out.
Right.
And did I remember to put pants on? Please, I did. Please.
Here's another.
Paul Hellier's a good one if you ever got time, want to do some little rabbit hole jumping. He's a good one. Yeah, he's got 55.
Yeah. Paul Hellier said 55 species of aliens, and we have evidence that 4 of them have been coming to Earth for thousands of years.
Do I believe it? Yeah. I mean, because they always talk about Egypt and the pyramids and how are they moving these big stones and making these elaborate, things without technology like we have today?
Right. There's no amount of whipping or wooden poles that you can beat men to build that pyramid. I cannot put that in my brain that those were built by a man. And all those thousands and thousands of cave dwellings, they painted what they saw and what they experienced, and the aliens look like beings that we are still seeing today. Maybe the crafts has changed a little bit, because when I was a kid, they looked like a flying saucer. Actually, that's what they were called. And then we went to UFOs, and now we're on UAPs, and it's maybe the words and the craft have changed, but the drawings of aliens have pretty well been a short, skinny structure with a big head and the big eyes. I mean, we've seen them
always.
always. And I can remember Chariots of the Gods when I was 13 years old. I got the damn book and read it from cover to cover and looked at the pictures on the words that I couldn't figure out. But still, I mean, those cave carvings, that is an astronaut sitting in a rocket ship. There's no denying it, And I mean, I don't remember where all the islands, but there's like runways that you can only see from an airplane. Well, how they put the rocks in the right place to make those pictures and put the little runway, and the rocks that they use isn't even a native rock that you can find on that whole area. So who got them? How did the rocks get there?
Right. Okay, here's another one. Shane, West Coast Dogman Project, says, my personal opinion is ETs aren't coming here just to get shot down. These things are thousands of years more advanced than us. Just my opinion. Absolutely agree with you, Shane.
That's like, why are they here? They don't need our technology and our brains because they're so far advanced from us.
Right.
Exactly. And I don't think they're abducting and probing to figure out how we work. They've had plenty of time to figure that out. It's nothing new to them. And I think when it first started happening, that they were testing our bodies out to see how we reproduce. Now, this is where I'm coming back to you, Teri, that, so to see if our bodies are viable to use in their reproduction, purposes.
Right.
That's why I lean towards that, because like I said, that we're just their surrogates at this point.
Right.
It's a possibility.
Yeah. And then another comment, Ken Tuck says, Greer stays safe by letting some things out.
Oh, yeah.
Once you dive into his videos, I mean, some of them are just, and I would love to go to a conference. Like I said, he's usually out in Arizona, but if he ever comes close, me and Ashley have our tickets and we're going to be there. So.
Yep.
Right.
If he comes
I think
close.
Chris and I'll be sitting right next to you.
Oh, it's like, well, actually, and I didn't do it because you have to make sure that your schedule is that you can, like when COVID, he was doing like 3 days and you could do virtual. But, that means if you're going to spend that kind of money, though, you've got to wipe out your schedule and say, okay, I'm going to be sitting in front of my computer Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 9 to 6,
Right.
So I think I had a ghost hunt that weekend, and I'm like, well, damn, there goes that. But yeah, if he ever does it again, and I've got the schedule to where I can just disappear for 3 days.
Well, yeah, he's a very smart man. He says just enough to put things out there so that people can't do away with him.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say do away with him. But he doesn't let so much out that they'll come after him.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like he's got this fine line. He's very smart. Very smart.
Yep, I agree. Jean Hudson asked, Teri, do you believe they come from above and below or just above?
They're above and below. They're definitely under the water. I mean, I've been following the Michigan Triangle, and there's all kinds of lights up there. And I mean, in fact, there was some light seen out there, and the whole lake was froze except for one area. And they watched, like, it was witnessed by like 100 people had called into MUFON that they saw these lights over the lake and they disappeared. And they went out there, and there was one section of the lake that wasn't froze over. Well, how come that one little section wasn't froze over when it was inches thick. It wasn't like, it just got cold.
Right.
I mean, the whole lake was froze over except this entry point that everybody saw about 20 or 30 lights go down in the water.
Yeah. Well,
Shane, yeah, I mean, you got to think about it.
Shane makes a comment here too. He says, all the good old USOs, 5% of the ocean has been discovered. Wonder why. It's good comment. Yeah.
Well, I mean, going back to the Michigan thing.
We spent all that money checking out the moon, and that's another whole rabbit hole. But
we'll talk about that a different time. That's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you got to think about the lakes in Michigan. I mean, consider Lake Superior. Let's just talk about Lake Superior. That thing is an ocean. Honest, it is. This thing is huge. It is deep. And I mean, ships wreck in Lake Superior. It's amazing how that UFO, like you said, UFO encounters and experiences have been up there. Now, see, that's where I was born, and I lived a lot of my life there. But I mean, there has been extensive amounts of encounters that have been reported and recorded up there. So, and Terry, you are absolutely right. When if you want to dig into some stories, dig into it, because even BMR had said that he had an experience when he was a kid.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is crazy up there.
Hold on for
It's
years.
crazy.
It absolutely is. There's another question here from Jean. She asked, could they be breeding hybrids for when they take over our world? I think anything's possible.
We're going to have it so destroyed. Why would they want it? But yeah, that's a good point.
You are
know.
correct.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're out there to save us, and that is their their first priority, please,
I mean, and
please
if they
save us.
teleport or whatever they do and go through a portal, God knows how many planets are out there. We just don't know it. I mean, if you think we're the only beings out there, yeah, you're living in a hole somewhere. I mean, where are they coming from? I don't know.
Yeah.
But then we got to touch on the moon a bit, because that's just another thing. So
I know you couldn't leave it alone.
The moon is so, I mean, we could talk forever on the moon. People have theories that it's hollow and aliens and humans all work inside the moon, and they come and go on the dark side of the moon because we don't never see that part.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some very interesting videos of things flying around the moon that's not a spacecraft or, the old satellite station.
Yeah.
Where they go in the moon. I mean, there's detailed pictures where people's got like close-ups of these things. And I know there's Photoshop, and it could be you can't believe everything you see on the internet, but
yeah. Yep. Let's
well,
see.
now we're starting to hear theories about Mars now. So
yeah, I posted that thing where it looks like a car or a crashed car that they found up there on that little rover, found a vehicle crashed up there.
Yeah. Yep. So like I said, I mean, it's just a matter of time now before we start hearing the theories on that. So it's coming.
How come we quit going to the moon? We don't go there anymore. So did we get everything we need? I mean,
right.
Have they exhausted their search or
70s to go to the moon? Seems like we were always shooting people up to the moon. Now we just don't go there anymore.
Yep. Here is another comment. Shane says Antarctica has been my curiosity outside of Dogman. Operation High Jump in 1947. Admiral Byrd taking 4,000 soldiers and warships to meet UFOs. How is that not talked about? Cover up. Amen.
Yep. There's a no-fly zone. It's so cold. Yeah.
Yep.
There's a big interesting story about that.
Yeah.
It's a 3-letter agency problem.
And then Eisenhower, I don't know what you know about Eisenhower, but he came up missing for 3 days and everybody thought he was dead. And the story is that he was actually making treaties with the aliens they would give us their technology, and then we told them how many people they could come and abduct off of our planet and turn into a 411 thing, and we wouldn't raise no stink about it. So I believe they come and get people, and there's part of your 411 for whatever reason, whatever they need them for. I mean, there's abducted people that they bring back, but then I think these people that we never see again.
Yeah.
Did we make some treaty with them? And
right. Well, didn't his granddaughter or great granddaughter come on and say that was true? That really happened. Yeah. Okay.
And he actually took, was it him? No, Nixon. Nixon took Jackie Gleason to an Air Force base and showed him a UFO and people like aliens in these little tubes floating in some kind of liquid. Back in the 70s, Nixon took them in there.
Yeah, that's crazy. Here's another question for you, Terry. Jean asked, we had a woman on here who was in the service, and she said that she worked an underground basis, and there was a very tall alien race living and working on the low levels. Have you heard of this?
I have heard several, and I can't remember the alien's name. He lived in one of the crashes, and he supposedly met with presidents and high officials, and we actually got information, and they named him, and I can't remember his name. But yeah, I believe they're here working with us, and I don't think they're at Roswell. That's just make everybody look there. I met an older gentleman at Walmart, and he got to telling me stories one day that I was out there, and he told me that they would be like in, is it Duluce, North New Mexico? It's like Dulce. He said that's where they're at, and that Whitman Air Force Base.
Wow.
They're not.
You know,
and some still at Roswell, but Roswell's like, hey, you cross that fence and we're going to shoot you. Where, you know, the other ones are like on the down low, and God knows what, you know, that there's so many underground bunkers that we don't.
Well, you mentioned Whitman Air Force Base, and that's here in Missouri, and there are a lot of dogmen and Bigfoot, you know, encounters in that area too.
In that area.
Absolutely. Yeah, but Teri, I think you're right. I think that the powers that be have let some of that leak about, you know, alien presence at Area 51, only because there are other spots that people are finding out about, and they just don't want to talk about them. So we're like, okay, so everybody knows about this spot over here. Let's give them a little bit on that. So it'll take them away from that.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was reading the story. It was out in the woods somewhere, and I can't remember. I wish I would have wrote it down. But it was like a campground, and it was underground up on an end, and then they go back because they're seeing Bigfoot and UFOs and funny lights, and all of a sudden the roads are closed. And the road was like labeled as a logging company, but you know, then the US government went in there and shut it all down, so people can't even get up in those areas. And you know, it probably happens at the LBL and places like that. You know, national parks. Look at all the 411 we got happening in the national park.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, out there in secluded areas and things like that. And it's mostly people traveling, you know, or hiking by themselves, or, you know, or someone who gets lost. It's crazy.
Yeah, just like Kiera said, the missing 401 cases are concentrated in the national parks. And I wonder the same thing.
You know, and it's funny when these people that are doing research contact these parks. Oh, well, we don't have no record of that. We ain't got no record of that. You had like 50 people come up missing. What do you mean you don't have a record of that?
Right.
You know?
Hello. Yes, you do.
Yeah. I'm thinking if somebody comes in with a camper and they disappear, that you got to do something with that camper and contact somebody. Oh, well, we ain't got their name, you know. Come on.
Yeah.
And these national parks, you know, I got to say, just today I watched Joe and Jesse Hellbent Holler. They did a quick live, and she was talking about all of there's a whole lot of park rangers out there that more than she's seen when she's been out there, and was also saying that certain roads and different areas in the LBL are shut down. So what's going on?
I don't know. Because the last time we were out there, it had nothing to do with the water, because the water was down so low that we were actually walking in the lake itself and it was dry.
Yeah.
Well, it makes you wonder, are they watching? I mean, are they watching podcasts like this? I mean, say what you want, and you might think you're small, but you're still talking about stuff that we shouldn't be talking about, that they don't want to get out there.
Exactly.
So, you know, you guys got on there and talked about your experiences and some of the crazy stuff that you saw out there and the stuff that was happening. You know, I worked for a company. If you put in the word of their name on the internet, they had some kind of a flagging system that knew every time their company was mentioned, and they could go out there and find it. So what's to say the government don't have something like, hey, that Krista and Brandy are talking about the LBL.
Right.
I mean, it sounds far-fetched, but come on, somebody's out there, you know, if a company.
Well, you got to think about it, because we have Letitia and Barton Nunley that are talking about it. We have, you know, we have Hellbent Holler talking about it. I mean, we have a lot of people. I mean, it's, you know, it's on right now.
Well,
you know,
we laugh about it all the time, but how many times have you been sitting in your living room talking to your spouse about something off the wall, just in conversation, and you go turn on your Facebook and an ad pops up on your phone. We sit here and laugh about it, but it happens all the time.
Yep.
Yes, it does. When your phone
we were on a
is
ghost hunting trip one time. We are out in the middle of Iowa. There's 4 of us in the car. Tammy is talking about some kind of problem that she has with her stomach, and I don't even remember. It was a specific name and it was a specific medicine. We stop out in the middle of nowhere so Holly can get some stuff for her contacts, and I pull up my phone because I stayed out in the car, and that exact word that Tammy was talking about came up as an ad on my Facebook for that medicine.
Wow.
Everybody's worried about Alexa listening to you. We live on our cell phones.
Yeah, it's true.
right.
Real quick, guys. I want to give a huge shout out to Paul Deal. We definitely appreciate that, and we appreciate.
Thank you, Paul.
You're
such a sweetie. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. It's definitely very appreciated.
Thank you. Helps pay our bills. Anyway, Teri, what I want to get into is like exactly how many times have you just Googled something and then you go to Facebook?
Yep.
And then next thing you know, it's advertising what you just looked up on Google.
What? Be looking for a new mattress, and all of a sudden you're going to get every mattress.
Mattress, I know, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We laugh about it, but it's really kind of spooky. I mean, if you really sit back because I'll pick up my phone and I'm like, Joe, are you listening? Can you hear me now? And we laugh about it, but it's really not funny. I mean, that's creepy.
It's pretty scary, really, if you think about it.
Because I mean, your phone is off.
Our cell phone is on 24/7. Doesn't matter where you're at.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, sometimes I'm not even, like you said, I'm not even on my phone. My phone is just on the charger, whatever. And I say something in passing, and then next thing you know, ads start popping.
Brandy, it's just laying there listening.
Right.
I'm like, well, I hope it gets an earful when I'm sleeping. It'll hear me back there snoring.
It really makes you wonder because, how do all those ads and stuff pop up on your Facebook? It'd be like nothing. It ain't like it's a big secret and we're sitting around talking about something. I mean, it'd be the dumbest thing that we're talking about.
Well, I mean, like I said, I was sleeping and all it's hearing me do is snoring, and then it'll hear me wake up, and then, because I got a really weird sleep pattern, I'm surprised I'm not getting ads for like melatonin or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Real quick, Daryl says, Jonesstead Farms, he's been to LBO many times with Martin Groves and Barton Unley, and they're down to 3 rangers from 12 that were there. Well, you guys need to go listen to Joe and Jesse Hellbent and Holler, just their quick live they did today. And she was talking about, she has never seen so many park rangers. Like, in other words, she didn't say it, but it was kind of insinuating like something funky is going on out there. So
they're closing down roads. Maybe they're putting blocks up, those to block off roads or closing roads. Like I said, that
that's
one
what she said that they were doing.
The best thing that I can hope for the best thing that I can hope for is that they're fixing some of them roads, because I'm telling you, them potholes could have swallowed my car.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that's what they're out there doing. Please fix them. That's all I'm saying.
What they're doing.
Well, apparently, like they've asked around and they've gotten, according to the video today, like several different reasonings. Like there's wild hogs, but and they've been all over the place last week, and they haven't seen any signs of any wild hogs. So
But there are some there. They have been seen.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there's some kind of weirdness going on. There's something going on out there.
But you're not going to shut down a road over wild hogs.
No, exactly.
It's not like they're cattle. Cattle hang out in the middle of the road. Wild hogs are not going to do that. So,
Kiara says, I want to check out the LBL. I hear some strange phenomena there. We have a past episode on that we did. Brandy and I did with Daryl Denton, Barton, and Letitia Nunley, and we all were there together at the LBL, and some weird, funky things went on. So. It's a past Blondes and Booze episode, and I think it was end of January
we saw a lot of strange things, and it could some of it be alien connected, possibly. We don't know. We don't know.
It's supposed to be a little bit of everything, like Marley Woods down there, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It and
Exactly.
it's well, Terry, this will interest you too, and I've mentioned it several times. They have a lake out there called Hematite Lake. It's
Yeah.
just chock full of it.
Yeah.
So,
Wow,
I mean, can you imagine all that energy?
Right.
that's crazy.
Right.
So
Is that farm, that
absolutely.
Jonesdale farm, is that like hooked to the property of the LBL?
What was that? I didn't hear what you said.
That Jonesdale farm that they're talking about, is that like connected to the LBL? Gotcha.
Yeah. So Kira's, thank you. She said, I recently joined your channel and love your content. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I just love sitting around talking to people. I love to joke, and I am a jokester, but a lot of the content we try to cover, we truly are trying to learn, honestly.
We really do.
And
Yep. Shane says Hellbent Holler is awesome. And they are. If you guys
yeah,
haven't seen them on YouTube, go watch their videos. I mean, they are boots to the ground. They don't only go to the LBL, they go places closer to their home, but they get some pretty incredible stuff. And I'm
well,
telling you, it's all, nothing is acted. It is all, it's
and
legit.
they have the weirdest encounters, strange with hill people and demonic things, and I mean, it's not all cryptid. Some of their stories fascinate me because I'm like, how did that happen to you? Because I don't
Right.
know.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So, real quick, we are coming up to the 2 hour mark.
Yes, we
I do
are.
want to put this up because, we talked about this last night in the show with Shane. And that's why, honestly, I got to say, I just love this dude. He is about how Brandy and I are with the Blondes and
Mhm.
Booze. We're about helping others. And this is what he says here. Clayton Blackwell, he'd love to be a part of your group when you do. Anything I can do to help someone grow a group and promote them and work together is what these communities need.
Yes,
Absolutely. 110%.
yes.
So, and that, like I said, this is what it's about for us, and growing together. And, it's what it's about. Helping
Yeah,
each other out,
exactly.
not putting each other down.
Exactly. So, that brings me to my next point. So, if you're in the Illinois area, hey, Terry's the head over there in CE5, Illinois. Go
Yeah.
ahead and join her group on Facebook. Even if you're not in Illinois, join it, because she does have some really great content that comes across there. A lot of stuff that needs to be heard. So, check
I
that
just
out.
shared it. I just shared it again. I've shared it throughout the
Thank you.
evening, but I just shared it again in the chat. So definitely go give her, go join her group. And then also been promoting a few groups tonight because these guys are awesome. This next one that I'm putting up is Bigfoot Believers and Other Creatures. That is Daryl Denton's group, and it's a great group also.
Yeah, congratulations on 20,000 members.
Absolutely. That was awesome. And this next group is Barton Nunnally's Inhumanoids group. Go join that one too. That one's awesome. And then this one I'm going to put up. This is our buddy Shane's UFO group. He's not only Dogman, he also has a Bigfoot and this UFO group that is pretty awesome also. So I've put all the links up to their Facebook groups and all that good stuff. So go join them. They're worth doing. And Brandy and I, let me look at them. We either admin or moderate every one of them.
So you're joining us.
Yeah,
You're joining us too.
except for Terry's, but Terry does
Except for
moderate.
Terry. Terry's got her own.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, we do like to help out. Exactly what Shane was talking about. We do help them out also. So in our spare time and stuff, we're in the background. You may not know it, but we're there.
That's what I tell my husband. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm a moderator for 2 groups. I have to have content. I gotta find me content."
you do awesome. You do awesome.
You're like,
It's fun.
actually, I'm looking for myself, but
Yeah.
if I find something.
Right. Exactly. So yeah. Anyway, we do appreciate everybody tuning in tonight.
And well, one thing before we cut out, Krista, is is, like I said, if you see us in chat on a lot of these, Krista will pop up as Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast. I have now changed over, so when I get on, you will see Blondes and Booze and the Woo. So now you can tell the difference of who's who.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always under the Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast. I never go under my
So
name.
if you see Blondes, Booze, and the Woo, that's me. That's going to be me.
Yep. If you guys Sunday night can join us, Sunday evening at 6 p.m. Central, we have Michael Christopher coming back, and he's going to do live viewer readings. So
Yeah.
that's fun. He's great. We've had him on several times before, and he rocks it. He's awesome. And we enjoy having him on our show for sure. And then next weekend, if anybody's in and around Ann Arbor, Michigan, we invite you to Photographs for Pooches.
Yes. Parafest. Because I mean, they've got an awesome packed lineup from John Zaffis to multiple, and I mean multiple psychic gallery readings, other speakers. I mean, it's all for a great cause. I mean, this is going to the Huron Humane Society, all proceeds. So come on out, come see us, come hang with us. I'm sure we're going to be goofing around, making strange videos,
Probably.
Knowing me and Krista.
Probably. And we've actually talked Bigfoot Michigan Rob into coming. And so is Letitia Nunnally. She'll be coming up with us. So Jean, when is your next live? It will be this Sunday at 6 p.m. So, and Central. That will be live readings. Yes, 6 p.m. Central.
6 p.m. Central. We're doing live readings with Michael Christopher, our good friend. So,
yes. So everybody join in. We appreciate each and every one of you. And
Terry, stay on after this, please.
Okay.
Yes. And Terry, you guys have seen her on here before. She'll be back.
Yes.
She's just kind of given, she'll be back. So anyway, we appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you very much. And
thank you.
Good night. Have a good weekend.